Good evening, good evening, good evening. I just want to welcome you guys to another edition of Creative Monday Discussion. I am your host, Mervin Budram, and I will be with you for the next hour and a half this evening. I just want to thank everyone who's joined in so far, and I want to encourage you guys, go ahead and share this link, share with your friends, share on Facebook, invite your friends to kind of come and hop on and join the conversation. If you are in this live and you want to submit questions, you want to submit comments, feel free to use our comment section below to join the conversation. We want to hear from you. So we have an awesome lineup of guests and panelists for this evening. Tonight is all about music. We're talking to singers, producers, songwriters, creatives, and we wanna get behind the scenes of what's been going on with them. So I just want to invite you guys just to stay tuned, to keep this locked and to share the link with others, right? And so before we get in, I just want to take this opportunity to thank some of our sponsors, those who've been jumping behind us to make these editions happening. And so we want to thank Belize, Elevate Consulting, Coaching with Melanie, Builders Hardware, KSBJ Fashions, The Art Shop, and Budram Solutions. We want to thank you guys for tuning in. And so again, as I mentioned, tonight is all about music. We're talking to artists and musicians. And so I want to, without any further ado, we want to hop right in, and I want to take this opportunity to introduce our first guest. She is not a stranger to Belize. She's not a stranger to the Belize music scene. She's actually, as I was reading her bio, I was amazed. And tonight we can't even go into the full depth of each artist, but we'll do our best to tap into what they've been doing and kind of get some highlights from them. So tonight I want to introduce our first guest for tonight, none other than Miss Denise Castillo. I just want to welcome Denise to the discussion. Hi Denise, how are you doing?
Hi, thanks for having me on the show. I'm doing really well, and I'm excited to get this started.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah. So Denise, we were talking a little bit earlier just about just the day and how hopping in from a long, busy day. And I realized as artists, we have many caps that we wear. We have our day job that we do. Then we kind of have our creative hats that we have to pull on and learning how to manage and juggle that. So how has that been for you?
I've been managing. I During this whole COVID thing, I've been working, but just of lately, I was doing some stuff this weekend pertaining to music and having to have that being done this weekend, then going to work this morning.
Yeah.
It's tiring, but
Yeah. Takes a toll. It takes a toll. Yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
but we're here, we're surviving, and we're doing the thing.
Exactly. So for those who are tuning in from, we have guests from both locally and international. So I want to hear from you. Let us know, comment below, and let us know where you're tuning in from, so that we can give a shout out to you. So we want to hop and introduce our next guest. This is he's becoming a friend. I recently got to know him via Facebook and also social media. So our next guest that we want to introduce to you guys is none other than Mr. Barrington Morris, out of Jamaica. Mr. Barrington, how are you doing?
Hi, how are you doing? I'm doing well too. Thank God. It's a pleasure to be on the show this evening to share with the other artists, and also to enjoy knowing what is happening in each other's life.
Yes, awesome, man. It's such a pleasure to have you on the show, and I'm looking forward to the discussion and hearing a little bit more from you.
Sure.
So yeah, so we want to get our what we do. We kind of do. We call it the Brady Bunch kind of thing. So we're getting all our artists on the screen, getting them going and introducing all of them. So I want to move on to our next artist this evening. I've actually known this artist for a while. I think we were shared the same stage. I think it was 2009 for a song competition here in Belize. That's the first time I saw her and I met her, and she's been consistent over the years and keep pushing her music. And so I want to take this opportunity to introduce none other than Miss Jackie Castillo, Jack Star. Am I Jackie Star? Jackie Cass? Am I saying it right? How are you, Jackie?
Hi, I mean, it's interesting when you're an artist when you have like about a million names, like P. Diddy have
I know,
Puff
right?
Daddy, P. Diddy, it's like it keeps evolving. But Jackie Cass is the name that I am currently using professionally.
Awesome.
And I just want to remind you guys that I'm actually home. So if you see my toddler walking behind me, it's just all a part of what life really
It
is.
is. It's the reality, Jackie. I mean, and that's we'll get into some of that tonight. Doing music, having family, having our day career, doing our job, pushing our dreams. Being a musician and artist, it's a full time. It's a full time multi job. You're not doing one job. You're doing so many different jobs. You're a songwriter. You're a producer. You're a mom. You're a parent. You're a promoter. You're everything. And so that's we want to get into that tonight a little bit more. I want to hop on and introduce our next guest. And I just want to say for those who are tuning, let us know where you're locked in from. Share the link, comment. I see Melion Gatir, I hope I'm saying it right. Sorry, forgive me for butchering your name. From Virgin Islands, we have Grace Harmony from New York. Welcome to the show. And I want to encourage everyone to just comment and let us know where you're tuned in from. The next guest I'm going to introduce, I met him. Was it last year or the year before? I've lost track, but he's become a friend, even a mentor. He's helped me in getting some of my marketing and rebranding kind of together. And so I want to introduce a young producer, songwriter, entrepreneur, a good friend, Mr. Andrew Puckett. He's out of North Carolina. Hey, Andrew, how are you doing?
How's it going? So good to be on tonight. I'm excited for
Man,
this.
man, it's good to have you on the show tonight.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. And our final guest for this evening, this is a good friend. We go way back. He's actually collab with me on my first debut album, Break Free. We collab on a song called "Going Down," hardcore soca. This is the St. Lucian Gospel Music Ambassador. Hope I'm introducing it right. And so I just want to introduce none other than Mr. Emrand Henry. He's not a stranger to Belize. He's been here on many occasions, just really, really blazing up the stage with his energy on top of energy. Emrand, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing good. I'm doing great. Thank you for the introduction. Well, we're gonna have fun tonight. We're gonna
Yeah,
really have a wonderful time in the presence of God. Thank you for this opportunity.
awesome. And I just want to say again, shout out to those who are tuning in. We see Karen from New York. We have such a great audience, a wide audience in the tuning in. I want to open up the discussion for us. Part of what we're doing tonight, we want to talk about our music journey. We want to talk about the reality of what it was like with COVID, what it's been like with us with the creative process. And so I just want to open up by just asking, what have you guys been up to? What's been going on? I think the major impact of COVID happened kind of around kind of March. We're in July now, and a lot has happened. A lot of different things we've been going through. So what have you guys been up to? What was this last block like for you? And I want to say, anyone feel free to just share. It's not a formal type thing. Anyone can hop in and just grab the mic and let's have a discussion here. So what has it been like? Who wants to go first? Denise, I'll call you out. Tell us.
I during this time, like I said before, I was working still. I had my day job, thankfully, but the musician side of it, well, of course we couldn't go out and perform. That was the whole thing that had us bogged down. But during this time, it was a time to reflect, a time to kind of plan what would be some of the next moves I plan to take as an artist. And even I did a bit of writing, and it was a time of a lot of reflecting and just thinking about what's going on as well to our people all over the world, wherever it really had you thinking about life and the things that we probably were taking for granted. So I would say it was a lot of reflecting time in my from
Amen.
my experience.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
Amen. And
Who wants to hop in?
I can also agree with what Sister just said a while ago. I mean, when before COVID, I had a lot of bookings, man. It's like
Yeah,
certain countries
yeah.
that certain
We
countries
know,
that
we know.
certain countries that I have not been to like 10 years now. It's like the bookings just started to come back, and I was like, wow, God is good. And then as COVID came, I was like, but Lord, what is going on?
Yeah,
because I'm into full-time music ministry. I'm also the worship leader for a church in Queens, New York, Liberty Bible Fellowship Church. So the good thing about it is that the church never closed. So
yeah,
I am the worship minister, but for what we do, we get paid or blessed, or how you can say it. So
yeah,
the income on that side continued, but my concerts, they got cancelled. And but another thing is, during this COVID thing, this is the first time that I have seen my ministry actually shifted from just doing live events and ministering to people. I was able to minister online to a lot of live stream concerts, and also I did a lot of prayer ministry to people all over the world. People, I had a prayer line where people could call, and then we could pray for them. And people
cool.
were going through a lot of issues. Some people were going through suicidal issues.
Hmm.
Some people, lost jobs, don't have money. I had that ministry part in me where they were calling and praying over them and prophesying to them. So all throughout COVID, it's like seeing what people going through, it really made me understand that I'm still blessed. Instead, in spite of me not having concerts, in spite of my bookings canceling, etc., but I was able to pour out into people's lives through prayer, through reading the word to them, through ministering to them. So
Yeah.
all during that time, God just been good. By encouraging somebody, I was able to encourage myself.
It's good. That's good.
Amen.
You, you know,
Yeah.
for me,
Amen. I'd
uh,
like to. Sorry.
go there, Jackie. Go there, Jackie.
No, I would like to say that I was one of those people who lost their jobs due to COVID.
Wow.
And so music eventually, well, music has always been a part of my life. Fortunately for me, I worked at the Institute of Culture and History. So my passion of music and my professional work were married together, and it was a perfect harmony, except the
Yeah.
fact that when our tourism in Belize was affected, it drastically affected the Institute of Creative Arts. And so we had to, downsize. And so I was one of
Yeah.
those people. And what I realized, or what God kind of showed me the week that I found out that I was being let go or terminated, I also won a competition for an electronic press
Oh wow.
kit, um,
Wow.
as a vision artist. And it kind of aligned in such a way able to share that press kit online. And then I was able to, I did a couple gigs. I actually did a wake using Zoom that I was hired for,
Oh,
and
that
I
is
had to
cool.
perform.
That is cool. That is cool.
And it was the most interesting experience. People from all over the world, they want to sing with me
Wow.
while I'm
Wow.
singing. And it was just, things happen for a reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And life is, I can see why you could definitely want some ministry, because when your livelihood is affected in such a way, it
Amen. And
really affects you emotionally, mentally, even
Yeah.
spiritually.
Yeah.
Mervin,
Yeah.
she said she did a week, right?
Yes,
I
I
did,
know.
I did,
I was
I
like,
did a birthday, a birthday party on Zoom.
man.
I was hired to do a concert on Zoom. Like we had like over 40 something people celebrating a birthday party, and they hired international artists who were
Wow.
booked. So
Yeah.
I
You
can
Wow.
know,
relate to
and
what
that,
you're saying.
yeah, and that's the amazing thing that I saw that came out of this time. Like we were able to tap into technology in a way that we've not tapped into. Like, it's always been there. Live streaming, Zoom, all these technology has always been there, but COVID kind of forced us to kind of think outside the box and kind of pivot and innovate and say, hey, what do we have in our toolkit that we can
Amen.
use to really shift things for us and keep us moving forward. So I actually want to hear from Andrew on some of that, because I know a lot of what he's doing up in North Carolina. It's a lot of innovating, it's a lot of using the toolkits and really champion and developing artists. So Andrew, what has
Yeah,
it been like for you in this stretch?
it's been difficult from a business perspective because a lot of artists um, are trying to basically launch their careers at a time where you can't go out and perform, and they're losing their jobs, or they're getting pay cuts, or they're getting furloughed. So it's kind of hard to navigate that. And I think something that's been really, really beneficial is just focusing on building community during this time. For me as a producer, I've just been consistently through this time personally with my own music, releasing a single every week. I've been knocking out my consistent schedule with that, but I've been doing a lot of production for independent artists. And I said, everyone's kind of struggling during this time, including myself from a business perspective. So I started giving away free production every single day. And I made it my goal in June to give away 31 free productions, just
Oh, wow.
like to impact people, right? Because I want to focus on building community through my platform, and building up a listenership, building up an audience, sharing a message, but also building a community. And I thought that it could be fun, it could be innovative, and honestly, it helped me more than I thought it could ever help me. I was like, I'm going to put in a lot of time and effort, and I don't know if I'll ever see these people back from a business perspective, but the growth that I've seen, especially from a consistency standpoint, in my own workflow and figuring out what works best for me, like that was the most impactful thing that's probably happened to me yet, even in the past 365 days.
Oh wow. So I don't want you guys to miss this. One of the things Andrew said, he's been putting out a song every week. Think about it. So putting out a song every. Andrew, how long have you been doing that? Like, what has
I've been doing that actually since I met you 1 year ago. So I released the first single when I was in Belize, when I was traveling, and I've been consistently completing between 2 and 3 songs for myself every week, which has been a blessing because it's taught me a lot. Because I do all of that myself. I do the production, the writing, the recording, the engineering, the mixing, the mastering, the artwork, and it's taught me so much just in that process. And I know that, going full time into music was going to be a very long, arduous journey and very difficult. But I said I'm in this for the long haul, and if I can refine this process right now, when I'm still young, when I'm still growing, when I still have that energy, when it really comes time, when I get down into the mud, it's going to be really, really easy to stay consistent and keep going.
Yeah. So Mr. Morris, let's hear from you. What has it been like for you?
What has it been like for me? Well, nothing much has changed really. I think it's Denise or Jackie who has been employed, still has her job. I still have my job. I'm a psychotherapist and also an associate pastor. Like Emrand, I lead the worship team at my church. So I've been still involved, not with the musical aspect when it comes to church, because most of our services, all our services are online. But I still continue to work as a psychotherapist, reaching out to those who are experiencing a lot of anxiety in a time like this. And it has proven to be a very effective time to touch lives and also to get into the world of people and to see the fear that they have to deal with. I have not really experienced much of anxiety. And regarding my music, I started to give some, to put in some work in my music. Last September, I went to, actually last June, I went to Dominican Republic to do some videos for some songs I did in Jamaica before migrating to New York. Nice. So I'm actually residing in New York now. And I started to engage other producers from Jamaica and Latin America. I actually flew down to Colombia earlier this year to get some work done. And nice. COVID has changed a lot of things.
Yes.
It's difficult to now travel to complete some of those songs. So we're working on the music. Yesterday morning before church, I wrote a song and sent to my producer. So it's a time to reflect. I've been reflecting, looking at how life has changed in just a matter of like a blink of an eye. Things have changed, but we're learning to cope with it.
Yeah, no, it's so true. Like it's amazing how quick life can shift, and how and some of it you can't prepare for, you can't plan for. So what was one of the first things you guys did when you kind of step into this COVID thing as everything was shifting? What were some of the first two things? What were the first thoughts that were going to your mind, and then what were the first actions that you took?
Well, I know for me, I started. Well, I realized I had 2 gigs canceled probably 2 weeks after COVID, after the Belize went into a state of emergency. I had 2 gigs that were scheduled, and they were both canceled. And I was like, oh wow, this is going to be a real thing. Like our gigs are starting to be
Yeah.
canceled. People change dates for their weddings. Like I was like, wow, when you see someone, because people and their weddings are very, very, like,
That's sacred. You don't touch
very
weddings.
important. So when you see someone, you don't. So when you see someone having to change the date of their wedding, I was like, oh, okay, so this is real. So in order to keep myself, well, there were two things, because being at home, I'm also pursuing a master's degree as well. So, and I have a toddler. So I had to figure out how to keep myself engaged, not get too stressed. And music was the answer to that. So I started doing, I called it quarantainment. I came up with my own quarantine event.
I like that.
So I called it quarantainment, and I just started doing videos. I just started singing. I turned on my camera, and I couldn't do live. Like Denise did some awesome lives, but for any of you who have children, there is no way that you could do a live unless it's extremely planned, like and so I just recorded videos, and I uploaded them. I did inspirational songs, I did some of my own original songs, and it kept people engaged, and it also helped me to interact with people, which is something that I needed to do, just listening to what Corona was doing to the world. So that's what I did.
Denise.
Let me start from the beginning. Before we knew COVID was it was already surrounding us in different countries. So right before that, I was planning an acoustic video, and I thought to myself, if I don't do this thing right now, I won't be able to do it again, because I had to gather backup singers, the musicians, and everybody. We had to come in one place, so I had to jump on it. And at that time, to be real honest with you, I was pooling my money together to do this video, and then you hear everybody say, have you gotten your groceries? Have you gotten this? Have you gotten that? And I haven't gotten anything. But I said, you know what? I have to get this video done. So fortunately, if I'm being real honest with you, our work offered to give like an advance, right? So so as soon as that I paid off my video and whatever, that came true. So I was like, God is really he's really on my side, because I didn't stock up on anything yet. And then everything worked out, and I believe that it was meant to happen. So I got rid of that at that time. Then after that, then when we were on heavy lockdown and what's not, like Jackie said, I did some live videos. I was at home, like around the Easter, we had kind of like a break, so we got a time to do our own quarantine, even though we were off work at that time. And so I decided to do a live, and it was so unreal how much people were waiting for something to be entertained and to interact. And I just did it unplanned. I did not plan it. I just went live on my Facebook, and all of a sudden I see like 300 people live just watching me singing.
Wow.
And it's not because I had a mic or anything. I just sang live. I used a Lee setup on my TV, and I did a thing, and people were it's so amazing how people could still connect, even though it was a time of kind of like chaos. So those are some of the things that I guess I experienced during this COVID time.
That's awesome. And I just want to say, for those who are tuned in, if you have not seen Denise video live that she's put out, I want to encourage you to look it up. Denise, where can people find that?
They could find the live acoustic video on YouTube, and as well you could purchase the actual song on iTunes and Spotify.
Awesome. And I do want to stress that, guys, we are all artists here, and everyone's been hinting but hasn't really dived into it. But the whole reality of how COVID have affected our cash flow was also real in many different areas.
Yeah.
You know, Emrand said it. I had several before we came. Denise and I were chatting. I had several gigs lined up for this year, and I was excited because coming into this year, I think I had asked Emrand. I said, Emrand, what can I do to get international gigs? And Emrand told me fast and pray. So I took him up on that. I did a 40-day fast coming into this year. I did a 40-day fast. And when that 40-day fast was done, I felt God led me to do another fast. And so
Amen.
I felt like things were shifting, and I've got a booking in Antigua. I had a booking in Barbados. We were negotiating in British Virgin Islands. And anyways, several bookings were happening for me, and then COVID happened, and then I'm like, what's happening here? And so, but it really helped me to, it helped me to get out of myself, because I come alive on the stage. When people see me on the stage, it's like a different person. But most of the times I'm very shy. I'm very, not shy isn't the word, but I'm very kind of chill, laid back. I don't, if I go in front of media, I'm very calculated about it. And so what COVID did for me, it made me able to kind of step out more and start even this Creative Live Monday discussion. This is one of the things that came from COVID, and so I am so grateful for the challenge, because the challenge has forced me to kind of step up and step out pretty much. And so
Amen.
and I'm still and we are still looking for other revenue streams as artists. So I went down that rabbit trail just to say, with Denise track, with all us, look us up on Spotify, look us up on iTunes, look us up on all these platforms, and show some love. Support, buy the music, stream the music. That's kind of how it goes. I wanna share. Someone sent me this. They sent me this, and when I saw it, I knew it was for tonight. They said, well, let me pull it up. It said, doubt kills more dreams than failure ever will. So let me say that again. Doubt kills more dream than failure ever will. Have you guys, what has the doubt like? What has it been like for you guys during this time in terms of the doubt, and how have you overcome that doubt? I mean, I heard a little bit from Denise in that with the finance side and her video, but what has it been like in terms of the doubt, and how have you overcome that?
Well, for me, I am normally a cool, laid-back individual. I'm not easily overcome with anxiety, but I must say that this time has caused me to think more about the possibility, how we deal with things going forward. A majority of us, I'm sure, we were hoping that this thing would have come and passed by like June,
quick,
and realize that now it's like starting all over again, especially here in the United States. So we have to think. I have to think what strategy to take, what approach, what changes I might need to make, and I think that's a bit of challenge. Recently, my plan was to go to Mexico to do 2 concerts at a church there. One of my friends, he's a pastor. He was recently here in New York visiting us, and unfortunately, 2.5 weeks ago, I got the news that he was battling the COVID.
Oh, wow.
And the sad thing about it, he succumbed to COVID-19. So that was really, it is still a very difficult thought and feeling to deal with. But, God has strengthened us, and we're moving forward. But it has been a challenge. And looking forward now, I've been thinking more of, this is a reality. We might try to we are having great anticipation, but it's a reality. It is taking out different people, well, pastors, politicians, whoever. It is taking out different people. And what I've been thinking about is that now I need to focus on what will happen with my music when I'm gone. I'm
Yeah.
engaging producers, I'm paying producers, and all of that stuff. So now I've been thinking more of making plans that if if it is my time and I'm gone, then my music is in good hands. Like
Ah.
That's good.
I've been thinking about that, the legality of it and all of that.
That's good.
Mhm.
That really is a good
That's
thought, and I want maybe we can talk a little bit about that. I know different ones of us have taken action in kind of getting our music, the legalities in place, but that's a really good insight for us. Maybe we can spend some time talking about that a little bit.
I think because I had a full-time job as an artist, getting my music online wasn't such a priority for me because I did a lot of live performances. That's kind of how I made most of my money. In order for me to pay for school, I was doing gigs. And when COVID hit, I realized that there's a lot of work I need to put in for myself as an artist,
Yeah.
similar to what Barrington is saying. If something should happen to me, I need to
Yeah.
have a body of work. I need to protect my body of work. I need to
Yeah.
ensure that my body of work is being shared with the general public. And I need to also monetize my body of work because even though people are calling this the new normal, I do believe this is what it's going to be moving forward. It just really reiterates the importance of ensuring that you have your copyright together, you have your brand, you have an identity, and you have it
Yeah.
online.
Amen. Amen.
Yeah.
True.
Emran, any thoughts on that?
Concerning copyrights and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe all artists, we have to know the business side of the industry, because a lot of us, I mean, when I first started, I lost a lot of money due to the fact that I did not take copyright seriously.
Yeah.
And so I believe as Christian artists, as gospel artists, we have to know the business side of the industry, and there are benefits that will help us in the long run, and not just help us, but it will help our generation. Because if you look at, for example, Bob Marley,
Mhm.
his kids are still reaping off of his rewards, and
Yeah.
we Christians, we have to know the ins and outs of the industry. So if you are a gospel artist out there, you watching us, I want you to take some time, read some books, some books about the laws of music, the industry, and know what there is for you to benefit as a gospel artist.
Yeah.
Know your rights. Know your rights. Know what you can accomplish from releasing a single and stuff like that. And yeah. And I remember when you spoke to me and you said you wanted you wanted to go places, different places. I always tell young people, I always tell gospel artists, where we can go, God can send us. You
Yeah.
understand? And it is always good as a Christian artist. I mean, the legal stuff, copyright stuff, but you must also know how to have a personal relationship with God, especially through prayer, through fasting. A lot of the shows that I have, a lot of the doors that open for me, it's not sometimes you don't even have like your music playing on radio or mega hit or this and that. But it's just God opening up the doors for you. You understand? It's just God opening the doors for you because you are connected to Him. And then
Yeah.
wherever He sends you, He will just sometimes He sends you to a huge crowd, a small crowd, but He sends you on an assignment, So we Christians, know the different ins and outs of the industry and also be connected to God. And He will do great things.
Yeah, Emran, and I think that goes for
Sorry.
anyone, whether even you're a gospel artist or not. What I'm
Right.
hearing in that you gotta know your why. You gotta know
Mm-hmm.
your why. Why are you doing this? Why are you
Pur-
in this? What's your
purpose.
message? What's your purpose? What are you about? And that will transcend everything. And one of the things I've observed is, many artists get lost in
Right.
on their journey. They lose their way because they're
Mhm.
chasing the crowd, they're chasing the fame, they're chasing the stage. But I think when
Right.
you capture when you hone into your why and you hone into your purpose, I think it's easy to navigate through all of that and get somewhere. And so that's why I appreciate each one of you guys, because I see each one of you honing into your different era. I took time to go and listen to your music, listen to what you're doing, and it's clear there is a message that you're pushing. There is something that you're about, and that is transcending in what you're communicating, right? And so it's really important to kind of hone into your why you're doing music, why you're locking in on this, what's your message, and how you will, for me, that's what's helped me. I'm all about inspiring. I'm all
Mhm.
about
Mm-hmm.
inspiring, motivating, and help transform lives. And so for me, because I grab a hold of that, it's expanded me. It's not just music. I do it through everything, through my music. I do it through my
Right.
business. I
Right.
do it through my speaking. Everything I'm doing, I'm pushing for that one thing: to inspire people, to motivate people, and to help transform lives. And so
And I,
when
I,
you hone in, yeah,
I agree with you 100% on that, Mervin. Imagine after, during COVID, right? Before COVID, it was like Emrand Henry. Emrand Henry is going out there and doing, getting these shows and recording and, getting music on radio and stuff like that. During COVID, I was able to sit back and say, you know what? It's not just about me. Let me start working with some young artists.
yeah,
And I started to connect with artists from my island, St. Lucia. And then what I find out is that there were two guys who used to be secular artists, and they now are Christians. And I said, you know what? I need to contact these guys ASAP. And I contacted them, both of them,
yeah,
and then I've had recorded them, send them rhythms, get their stuff mixed, and now their music is played outside of the island. You understand?
yeah.
So it's different now. It's us not just seeing ourselves, but seeing, you know, we a virus came and put the whole world on pause.
The whole world got
And
affected by a
it's time
virus.
to reflect. And
Yes,
say,
and the interesting thing about that, the virus, there's a verse: when it rains, it doesn't rain on the righteous and unrighteous. Like
that's
when it
right.
rains, it
That's
rains.
right.
So this
And
was one of
everybody.
those. Yeah, everybody
But
gets it. So
everyone.
what I yeah, and what I loved,
That is true.
what I saw with this was it was pulling everyone together. Like people were pulling together. Like it didn't matter where you fell on the spectrum. Everyone was pulling together for hope, pulling together for answers, pulling together for
That's
solutions.
right.
I mean, I was a part of several live stream
Definitely.
concerts to help raise
Many.
money for those who weren't able to find funding in this time,
Right.
right? And so I think that's one of the things I love about what happened. We saw God shine through people in this time. That's the best way I could say it. And people rose up and start to think about their neighbors and start to think about how we can help this one or help that one, and even through music, how we can release positive music to uplift the soul. A lot of that was kind
Amen.
of going out, right? And so COVID
One
definitely brought its challenges, but I think it also positioned us to dig deep and release some good stuff in the world.
That's
That's
true.
right.
Because
Yeah,
what
one of the
I find,
things one of the things one of the things that I want to say is that I was listening to, I think it's Emrand, speak about fasting. Well, during COVID, I decided I was going to try the Daniel fast,
Mm.
and I made it
Yeah.
2 days in, and I was like, I listen, fasting is a whole different,
You had to be a warrior.
and
Oh.
I'm
Yeah.
going to be honest with you. During quarantine, the only thing you want to do is eat, right?
Ian, I know.
So
I'm
I
trying.
said, no
I'm
one.
trying to shed some of that right now.
what I
I'm
had
like,
to make.
I'm going to use this time. I was like, I'm going to use this time to. I've always wanted to try the Daniel fast. I've researched. I got my juicer. I got my vegetables. I'm going to juice. 2 days in, I started baking bread because I needed something to settle my soul so that I could. It's just, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's something psychological where you see the world going through so much. And I don't know if you guys experience this, but like as an artist, like I am such an empath. I feel everything. I had to limit myself
Right.
from the news. I had to limit myself from Facebook. And I guess that was my fast because I literally stayed away from Facebook. I stayed away from social media.
Yeah.
I did my meditation, and I stuck with what was positive, and I wrote music. I decided what I was going to do with my musical career. I wasn't able to release music like Andrew, but it was just such a time as an artist to reflect, to decide what you're going to do, and how you're going to impact the wider community with this gift that you have been given. But man, that Daniel fast was an epic fail for me. Epic fail.
And, hey, and I wanna say to Jackie, this is what happened to me, right? So part of why I ended up doing a 40-day fast was because I started and I went for the first 2 weeks and then I crashed. And then I was like, oh, man. Then I said, no, I'm going to start again. And I remember something that my pastor talked about. You set the standard and then you push for the standard and then you fall short of the standard, but you don't give up. You set the standard again and you start push for the standard. And that's what I did. And that ended up, and it's something even in my music, it's in every era of my career. It's a don't quit mentality, don't give up mentality. And I want to say for those out there, I mean, I've been doing music since I was 9. I've been in this. It's not an overnight thing. And I listened to the earlier stuff that I did, and I'm like, honestly, that song like whack. But you keep yes, you even now, like I'm listening to the songs that in this last stretch this year alone, I released 2 songs on 2 beats, one with Samuel Beaton on the Eternal Beauty rhythm, and then I released another one with Jamal Newton out of Barbados on the Antidote rhythm. And I'm listening to my writing style. I'm listening to everything that it's changing. And I, and I'm saying that to say that we as artists, we keep chipping away at it. We keep pushing for it. We keep improving every time we do it. And I think COVID, I had great plans to do all kind of different things in COVID, and I actually ended up resting a lot. The first part of COVID for me, I realized I was pushing hard for years. I've been pushing hard for years, and so COVID allowed me to rest, to pause, to step back, and to really hone in and refocus and say, okay, so like Denise said it earlier, and even Jackie said it earlier, like what will my career be like? What will I focus on? And that's kind of what I started to do. And I'm the songs that I'm starting to write. I mean, right now I haven't even released them. The songs that are coming up and I'm writing are way different, and I'm blown away by the songs that are stirring up and coming up within me. But I'm saying that to say, for everyone watching, for every single artist here, we've been at this for years. So if you're planning to come into this arena, it's not a overnight, it's not a quick fix. It's chipping away. Like I said, I've heard the first time I met Jackie was in 2009. That was way back then. I didn't have gray hair then. I have gray hair now, right? But this is what years later.
And 3 kids.
I didn't have kids either. I was single, never had kids. I have
kids.
We have 3 daughters. I have 3 daughters. And we're still chipping away at it, and we're pushing. And so, for me, I think I'm excited because here we had a world-changing event come and hit us hard, and we are still here as artists and musicians, creating, producing, and putting music out there. We didn't quit, we didn't stop, and I want to applaud each one of you on that. We did not stop. We did not give up. We could have thrown in the towel. This was a perfect time to say, you know what, this music industry thing isn't working. I need to go find something that's actually making some real money. And we could have thrown in the towel, but we are here still. We are here still, which shows commitment, which shows we're committed to something bigger than just a stage or a fame. I think there's a vision that we've seen that we're pushing for, right? And so that's my little spiel for the evening for those who are young entrepreneurs, young musicians wanting to get into this now. So guys, go ahead, Andrew.
I wanted to second kind of what you just said about, you know, setting the standard and the expectations. Something that I've always preached and have lived by is that you rise to the levels of your expectations, but you fall to the levels of your practice. And so whether that's in music, whether that's in entrepreneurship, in your personal life, in your spiritual walk, in your faith, whatever it is like you set high standards and you go for them. You never shrink the goal. You always amplify the level of action that you can put behind it. But that consistency, that practice, that day in, day out work is eventually, you know, on your worst day, you're only going to be as bad as how much work you put in to get there. And I think that's what many people miss, especially here in the United States. There's so many young artists, like you were just saying, it takes years and years and years to get any sorts of results. And that's hard for a lot of people. A lot of people don't see that because, you know, that's, at least in the United States, there's this social media culture, this culture of show everyone the success, show everyone the good bits, but never show them, you know, the work or whatever it took to get there. And a lot of people sacrifice their mental health, their finances, you know, relationships, family, just to get something that's intangible and doesn't satisfy anything. And I want to say, Emrand, what you were saying about fasting and faith and vision and all those aspects, it's so interlaced, I think, with creating in general. A lot of people don't get that. It's just, I think everyone in here can attest to the fact that, you know, your spiritual walk and how you are casting your vision directly relates to what you're putting out from an artist perspective. And Marvin, what you said about resting during this time, I personally can say, you know, I've been amazed. I've been starting to, on a micro scale, start implementing daily naps and just a lot of time to pray, to meditate, to step away from everything, to allow just like that spirit of creating to well up in me. And I can say the exact same thing, that the stuff that I've been pouring out recently has surprised me with just different things coming from the rest. Yeah.
Amen.
It's very good.
Go ahead, Emrand.
Barrington.
Yes, it's very good that you know, one can look back at the work that they're doing and feel good about it, because social media is good and it's bad. And in this time, we get to see, it's like we have COVID as a virus and we have another virus when it comes to social media, in that we are connecting rapidly. We are getting to connect with other artists. We are getting to connect with producers. We are getting to connect with people. We would not have even had the time without a COVID. We would not have had the time to even slow down and connect with some people, even connect with ourselves. I believe that this is a time when we really should be doing some introspection, some self-evaluation. What can I change about me as an individual? How can I be more productive, whether musically and in general when it comes to social skills? Because sometimes you find a lot of people who are very gifted, very talented, but they lack social skills, and the lack of social skills have prevented them from really achieving set goals or experiencing great success. You know, I was sharing with my godson yesterday, and I was saying to him, I said, there are a lot of people who are smart when we look at them and we talk about, wow, you're smart, but they have not been able to put their smartness into action any at all. So you find that you have come across people who have great abilities. A lot of the people with the greatest talents don't maximize on them any at all. They don't. You know, and you're like, come on, what are you doing with yourself? And so this time, I think it's a good time to do some introspection, you know, evaluate oneself, and also to be very careful because here we have the access to the social media, a lot of things we can do now, but we also have to set boundaries, because it
Yeah,
could drain
that's
us.
good.
And if we don't set that kind of boundaries too, we find that if we don't filter people, because everybody's coming in, people with the right motive, people with the wrong intention. And so we have to be able to set boundaries, in how we relate to people on the internet.
That's good.
Amen.
That's good.
Amen.
Very good.
It's
So,
true.
guys, we are kind of heading into our last 30 minutes segment, and what I want to do with this time is just kind of give us an opportunity to kind of drop some nuggets, some tips, some advice to producers, to songwriters. What's your creative process like? How would you encourage others to improve their skills? How would you encourage others what to focus in if someone would want to get into the music and the creative space? So anyone can feel free just to hop on and just give your insights, your experience, your journey, and what you learned along the way.
I'd say the biggest thing that I would give to anybody is understand, like what you said, Marvin, earlier. What's your why? Are you doing music because you feel called to be a musician, because you love music? And how do you want to do your music? Do you want to be what do you want to be the best at? What are you willing to put in years and years and years of work into? I think a lot of people are just they kind of see the allure of being a musician, but everybody knows it's not as good as it's cracked out to be.
Yeah.
But some people who are like, they want to be a great vocalist, but they're spending all their time doing production on, let's say, kids that focus on writing vocals. It's what do you want to become, and then put all your effort behind that. For some people, it's a big wake-up call. Like our whole lives, most of the schooling system here in the United States is teaching us to fit into a box and follow certain standards, and breaking free of that is absolutely, absolutely crucial. But that consistency aspect is like, if you want to be a hit songwriter, if you want to make the best music out there, then go write every single day for 5, 6,
Yeah.
7 hours a day. If you want to be the best producer, go learn it. Watch every single YouTube video. I think that's the other thing I would say is don't underestimate the power of the internet. Like I was born and raised musically from Google and YouTube, and that's how I learned everything I know. You have unlimited resources. There's literally no excuses to not say you don't know.
University.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, and another thing is what I want to tell young Christian artists is don't be afraid to collaborate with other artists, and also even the seniors, the artists who are like me, who are out there, when a young artist reach out to you, don't play like my brother said, don't play like you don't have social skills, just reach out to them, be a big brother to them.
Yeah.
Be open to young artists. You never know who you touching, the person you speaking to could be the greatest artist or the greatest gospel artist in times to come. So you should never because you up there or you have chart topping songs and you have big songs, so you only cater to a certain set of people, a certain set of artists. But be open. I've spoken to young artists who nobody knows, and then giving them advice, even collaborated with new artists. For example, I collaborated with Milian, on a rhythm, and and just be an encouragement. We artists, let's just collaborate and be an encouragement to other artists. I mean, there are you can't collaborate with everybody, because there are certain people when you collaborate with them, they're not ready. But always be open to listen and also to pray with artists. I did a lot of that during COVID. Prayed with fellow gospel artists, just to see. Because some gospel artists, we are human. We go through a lot. We go through a lot as ministers, and it's always good that we have each other's back, not competing with each other, but praying for each other, advising each other, and supporting each other. The word is support. Always support each other and be an inspiration to each other.
Yeah. And guys, I want to echo that. Like Emrand modeled that for me. Emrand was one of the first artists that collaborated with me. and he didn't know this. Like, he was one of the artists that I used to study. So I used to study Sherwin, Emrand, Christopher. I used to study them. Like, I would like listen. I mean, I remember his album, and I would get up and I would be listening to his project, listening to it day in day out.
Wow.
And so when Emran had agreed to collaborate with me on my project, that was huge for me. That was a huge thing
Right.
for me, and that shifted a lot for me, even with my confidence as an artist. I remember when Emran spoke to me, and he said like, "Hey, you have the quality that's out there." Like, and I remember like, serious? I didn't think so. And then but it shifted something in me that it made me want to step out. And actually I had a record label, Roots and Honors record, and it was Emran who encouraged me to start that, because we were doing a event. I think it was YC Belize or something, and we were in
Right,
Belize
right.
City. And we were talking, and I told him, I feel like this has been stirring on my heart to do a record label, because there's only so much record labels in Belize, and there wasn't even at that time a gospel record label. And I
Wow.
started at his encouragement, and I was able to, for years, we did our Roots and Honors records, and we worked in helping to develop artists and get them out there. And I mean, but it was at the encouragement of another artist that came, and my wife always said this
Amen.
about Emran. Every time Emran comes to Belize, we say, "Watch Emran. He's in the crowd with the people. He connects with the people. He's an artist
Yeah.
of the people." And so that would be my advice. Don't get up there that you're too good to connect with people, because it's the people, it's the fans, it's those who
That's
buy
right.
our music,
Very
support our
true.
music. They're the ones who get us farther, right? And so as artists, you can't be so up there that you don't take the time to connect with those who support your music, right? And that's one of the things. Every time I guarantee you, Emran comes to Belize, and you'll
Mhm.
see Emran is out before he's performing. He's in the crowd watching every artist dancing, jumping around, and then he goes on the stage and deliver, right? And so it's we had our band, and that became one of our model as a band. We would make sure that someone from the band is in the crowd supporting every artist that's up there performing, and that's
Right,
just one
right.
of the ways we used to show our support.
Yeah, and I
That
must
is
say,
very true.
the first time I saw you moving, I was like, wow, this guy has everything. He has a band, he has the crowd. I was like, this guy is gonna be huge. And so said, so done. And I really love what you're doing in Belize. I mean, and you don't just keep everything to yourself. You have a whole bunch of young people around you. And everywhere I go in Belize,
Yeah.
if I say Mervin Budram, everyone say, yeah, I know Mervin. So that's a
Yeah.
blessing.
I would
Yeah.
say in listening to
Denise,
that,
oh, sorry.
go ahead. Yeah, I
No,
see
no, I was. Go ahead.
the need
You're done.
the need for purpose. Be very purposeful. I would say be purposeful. Also, you should have some degree of conviction when it comes to your message. If you're
Mhm.
the person,
Yeah.
if you're a secular artists write with a conviction. They have a purpose, and they write accordingly. And I think the same when
Yeah.
it comes to Christian writers. You need to be purposeful, and you cannot just write anything. If you need to meditate, take a moment and dive into the word, because that's the message you are sending. That's the message you want to send, because you're a Christian artist.
Yeah.
You need to invest time in studying the word, so your songs can be sound biblically, and not just some stories contrary to what you're claiming to be. And enjoy the process. It's a
Yeah.
process
Amen.
that you have to take time to enjoy. It should not be so much of it is work. It is demanding, but it also should be a process that you enjoy. And
Good.
not finally, I would say, don't be selfish. We talk about collaboration. We listened to Andrew. He shared earlier about giving opportunity to others by producing for them free during the time of during the month of June. Take time out to touch someone's life by giving a pouring into them. It could be pouring some
Right.
voice training. If that is what you have, you might not have money. It could be to help them produce. It could be give them some advice on how they can improve, whether their video, their harmony, whatever they do. Yeah, take some time and not be selfish. Give, give, give.
It's good.
Amen.
I definitely agree with that. When it
Yeah.
comes to music, I've been asked this question a lot, and one of the answers I give is it's a process. It's not something that happens overnight. It's something that takes, like you said, years. You said you listened back to some of your songs and you're like, you're a different. I mean, when I started off, I was telling somebody the other day, like I hardly when I started to sing, like my voice was very soft, and then over the years singing and singing, I was able to learn how to project, and I could I believe my voice, I guess I could say it has grown in
Amen.
volume. But everybody starts somewhere, and I believe as an artist you have to be very humble, and
Yeah.
not only to the younger generation, but to people who genuinely love what you write and what messages you portray in your songs. Because I feel like if I were to ask one of my favorite artists or my one of my idols, or somebody that I had looked up to musically, like some songs I listen to and I'm like, I want to know what was the thought process when they wrote
Yeah.
this song.
Right.
Because this certain line, I feel this line, so
Yeah.
when people come to me and tell me like, oh, this song, I felt this song, I could relate, you have to be mindful that the song spoke to them. So it's good to relate with people and let them know too that you're human as well, because a
Yeah.
lot of artists, like you said, chase the hype, and
Mhm.
they chase this lifestyle. And to be honest, like over the years, sometimes I felt discouraged as an artist, but I still kept writing songs that meant something to me. And
Yeah.
the support over the years have been so overwhelming. Like you would be surprised. I mean, I'm just here in Belize. I'm still working on getting out, but at the same time, it's so amazing how you could reach people here at home too, and
Yeah.
just fans. And the other day, a young lady messaged me on Instagram, and she was like, what kind of advice would you give me? And she's she's saying that she's not she's from a single parent home, and people like are discouraging her from doing music, and that it's a lot of money and different thing. But I told her like it's a whole process. I mean, like the what's his name? I can't remember everybody's name right now, but from but he said Mr. Puckett.
Yeah.
um
Andrew. Andrew.
yeah, Andrew. He said something about what was it? But anyways, I was telling the young lady that it doesn't matter, like you said, Google and all those kind of programs, they could help you. And
Mhm.
even if it's you have a phone, you go on live, you do recordings on Instagram, on Facebook. People view those things every day, and it's a crazy amount of things that people share on the network, and that you can see. If they could send silly videos, just imagine what you could reach by actually putting out something that's your writing, your talent.
Yeah.
You could reach out to a lot of people that way, and you
True.
never know who could get you to that level that you might want to be. So as a young artist, I would just say, if it's your passion, you go after it, and you'd
Yeah.
be surprised how far you can come.
Yeah.
Amen.
It's good.
Amen.
That's good.
Something I
And
would say, sorry, go for it.
go ahead, Andrew. I won't
Something
forget
I
my
would
thought.
say is important for any artist, specifically younger artists in today's day and age, is owning your supply chain. If you're starting from the ground up, a lot of people that I've had the chance to work with and teach and give to over the past few years, they're kind of all starting from this ground up grassroots area. I'm like, go learn how to produce your own music. Go learn how to record your vocals. Even if that's not what you end up doing, if you assemble your team, you start working with other people who are better, because there's always somebody who's better than you, who's more specialized than you. I think it's important to work with those people. But at least you'll walk into a studio knowing what goes into the production. You'll know what goes into the recording. You'll know what goes into editing the video. And I think learning all those steps in between, it's kind of like that's your school for being an artist. And learning that self-sufficiency is so crucial, especially during these times. Having something that's COVID-proof. If you're relying on going to the studio and doing this, and you had an album planned and you had to get this done, but now all of it's put on hold, it's like now everything's stopped. But if you could own that supply chain and figure out, or do it yourself, or have people that can do remote work, that will just smooth things up and pandemic proof it, recession proof it, whatever you want to say. It's absolutely.
I like that, pandemic proof it,
I like that.
recession proof
Pandemic
it. Yeah, no, I was gonna say earlier, just
I
as
guess
Denise was sharing. Yeah, as Denise was sharing the whole thing of working and encouraging younger artists. I agree with that. Go with all your passion, but build a foundation.
Sure.
Build a foundation. It's important. It's important. I've been talking a lot with my wife about this. The foundation that we have now will determine what kind of building you can build on top of it, right? So if you have a faulty foundation and then you try to build this big thing on it, it will crumble. So yes, go with all your passion, but as you're going, get wisdom. As you're there's been so many people that have gone before you. Sit with them, talk with them, get advice on the business side as well as the creative side, because there's, like I said, as artists, as musicians, we wear multiple hats. You're not just a creator. And I've worked with a lot of artists, and I know there's a lot of artists that just want to stay in the space of writing, singing, and producing, but they don't push their music. They don't market their music. And so you need to become holistic. You need to look at every angle, and that's where the foundation comes in. I always encourage artists, even, and I did this. I'll say it this way. God led me to do this, and I'm saying that way because it's so true. Like when I was 20, I kind of was getting back into the music scene around 1920, and I realized that within Belize, music was not income generating reality. I know some people outside of Belize made it, but I know for sure we didn't even have a music industry in Belize, much less a gospel music industry in Belize. So right now, the music industry in Belize is really starting to pick up. And we're still, in a sense, we don't really have, in my opinion, a gospel music industry in Belize. And so it's still kind of trying to formulate. And what that means, that translates into young artists who wants this to be a career. That is a hard reality if you're planning to stick just in Belize, because it's not it cannot sustain you. And so for me, realizing that, I realized that okay, I need something else that will be my foundation, and that's what part of why I have my company Task Belize, because that feeds my family, that take care of us, that helps generate income so that I can do the music. And if I don't make money from a music venture, it doesn't shut me down completely as an individual, right? And as a with my family. And so I'm sharing that to say you got to think about this very strategic. And part of why I even pushed my music outside of Belize was because I realized that if I'm gonna step into the space where I actually make an income, it's gonna happen outside of my country. It won't happen within my country. And so that was one of my strategies, because I sat and I looked at what was going on in my country, what was going on in my circle, my sphere, and I said, how can I build properly, and not just build haphazardly, and just and you need passion, because passion will sustain you. But if you go with just passion and not get wisdom, you will passion burn out very fast. Passion can burn out very quick, right?
That's right.
And so you need both. You need the passion. You need You need that drive because that's what fuels a lot of our creativity. But you also, as you're going out there, you also need to get wisdom, get understanding, talk to different people. Like I talk to a lot of artists. I mean, I told you guys that Christopher was one of the artists I grew up listening to, and I spent extensive time talking to Mark Moore, the leader of Christopher, and I asked him pointed question: how do you handle this? How do you handle a band? How do you manage this? How do you do this? I asked lots and lots of questions. I remember a time I called Emrand, how do I price myself internationally? How do I price myself for this? How
I
do I,
remember that.
and he's like, well, yes, and you got to do this. So you have a circle of people around you, get wisdom, and then you take that wisdom, couple it with passion, and you run. Jackie, you were gonna say?
I mean, you guys have said a lot of the things that I would also say as an artist. I think one of the most important things is that when you decide to become a musician, it's not just about the music that you do, it's about the lifestyle that you live. You essentially
Yeah.
become a brand.
Amen, amen.
I think it's important for a lot of young musicians coming up to realize that they're not just representing their creative idea, they're representing their entire selves.
Yeah.
You know, and while you may not necessarily be able to make money immediately, I find that if you brand yourself as someone who's professional, if you're wise enough and knowledgeable about your craft, then people will gravitate towards you because they'll know the level of professionalism that you bring to the table.
Amen.
I
Yeah.
know for a fact I have not released as much music as Denise, or any other artist, but what has always stand the test of time for me, I've been performing for over 10 years, is the level of professionalism that I bring to my craft. Jackie Castillo
Yeah.
is a brand. I'm not
Yeah.
a singer. I can host an event, you know, I can do ads, I can do commercials. So it's also about leveraging the platform that you've created for yourself as well. You know,
Good.
you can multitask. You're able to do so many different things within the field that you're working at. And one of the most important things I think for a musician is practice, 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 practice.
Yeah.
We have, and Denise can tell you, we have been at some practice 12 a.m., 1 a.m.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
We
exactly.
are
Yeah.
there putting in the work because we know that it's not just about the song that you record. People want to see you perform it live. And even though
Yeah.
coronavirus is here and you might not necessarily be able to deliver to a physical audience, you're still going to need to perform in front of a camera. You still have a
Yeah.
virtual audience.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So developing
means
that
more practice.
confidence and that skill, which needs more practice, ensuring that you're singing in key, ensuring that
Yeah.
you're able to deliver on that performance is extremely important. Majority of the times I see a lot of musicians and they have excellent work, of their body work is amazing, but when they're placed on a stage, or even
Yeah.
if they have to deliver something on a camera, that is where sometimes the limitation is. So YouTube University, I am a proponent for YouTube University. It can teach you to do so much.
Yeah.
I mean, and there's so many webinars. There's so much webinars, free
Yeah.
webinars online. Juilliard, all of these schools are giving free courses. You can tap into one of them. You have the internet. Put in the work that is necessary for you to represent your brand so that you can have longevity in this business. So you're not just popping up with one or two songs for 3 years and 5 years later they're asking, where did this person go? What happened to this person? It's
Yeah.
about developing and building a brand, and I think that's what I would have to say.
Yeah,
good.
I like
That's
that.
good.
I like that. It reminds me of in listening to Mervin, and also Andrew shared a little on this. Um, sorry, it is going to be very important to capitalize on different areas. Andrew spoke about um, being very creative, trying to produce your own music, trying to learn the ins and the outs, learn a little bit about that. I was sharing with someone yesterday uh, who had and I've had the opportunity to share a lot of this with my clients too at the clinic. Sometimes they want to become a great basketball player or they want to become a great musician, and they want to do away with school in totality. And I try to tell them, never limit yourself. Look at
Mhm.
all your capabilities, all the skills, all the talents that you have, and capitalize on it. When you look at some of the more successful entertainers we have today, and even gospel artists, when you look at whether it is Jennifer Lopez in our world, or it is a Kirk Franklin or whoever, you realize that they are either working as producers and not doing much singing anymore, so they are
Yeah.
capitalizing on that aspect of themselves. And there are
Yeah.
times when we are using, say for instance, for those who sing, this is our organ, we are using, this is our instrument, and anything
Yeah.
could happen. You could lose it, just like an athlete, just a bad throw or a bad jump, and you no longer can do your sport. So it is important that you capitalize on all your abilities. Capitalize on them, because you never know which one will bring you great success. It's like the word of God says, cast your bread upon the water. I think it is in Ecclesiastes, cast your bread upon the water, and after many days you'll find it. It speaks of great investment. Invest in the different areas, because you don't know which one will bring you that great success
The
that you need.
results. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Guys, very awesome input at it. And I just want to take a moment again just to thank everyone who is tuned in, has stayed with us tonight. Those who are commenting. Again, if you're just tuning in, we are here talking about music, artists versus COVID-19, kind of what this last few months was like for us, and kind of how we kind of stayed creative, how we kind of navigated through this time, right? And we've had some really awesome discussions, and I'm actually excited. I've learned a lot. I'm taking notes as well of some
Nice
areas
job.
that I need to lock in on, focus in, right? And so we're kind of winding down. And before we do this, I just want to take time to thank again our sponsors. I want to thank Task Belize Limited, Elevate Consulting, Coaching with Melanin, Builders Hardware, KSBJ Fashions, The Art Shack, and Budram Solutions. I want to thank our sponsors for those who helped to make these Monday discussion happen. And if you wanna sponsor, if you wanna find out, be a part of this, and be a part of bringing transformation, inspiring and motivating lives, just reach out to me, info@mervinbudram.com, or 614. You can call or WhatsApp 614-8540 and find out how you can be a part of this process. Where you can also make a donation on my PayPal page. The link is there on the bottom. And one of the best way to partner with me, actually, I have a Patreon page that you guys can actually become a regular partner and join us. We want to create more videos like this, more content. There's a lot more that we want to do, and we're looking for partners. We're looking for people who want to jump behind the vision and get behind what we're doing. So guys, we are wrapping up. We have about 10 minutes to go, and I just want to give each one of us an opportunity just to leave our final thoughts. What do you want to leave with those who are tuned in? And yeah, just let's go for it.
I would say, if you want to,
I'm just
if this
gonna
is
go
sorry,
quickly because my
go ahead.
toddler is getting a bit. Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
okay.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go
We
ahead.
will
I'm just
prefer
gonna say
ladies.
that
We'll prefer ladies.
it's about. Well, it's not, you know. It's about your brand. Leverage your online presence as much as you can. There's so many things you can deliver to this world as a musician. Don't be afraid to have a presence online and use that presence in a positive way. And that's all I'm going to say. Try to use it in as much of a positive way as you can.
It's good. It's good.
Amen.
Thanks, Jackie. Mr. Barrington, you were saying earlier.
Yeah, be true to yourself, and be very true to yourself. Be true to the message that you're spreading, and invest quality time into what you want to become. If you want to become a great singer, listen to great singers as well.
That's good.
If you want to become a great, whatever you want to become great at, listen to those. Nothing is really new. We just take what has already been established and we build on it. So
Good.
listen to the greats.
Awesome. All right. So I'm just gonna call you guys out to make it easier. So Anjo.
Hey, yeah. I think the biggest thing I could say is just that consistency, the day in, day out. What Barrington just said, stay true to yourself, and that leveraging your online platform, leveraging your skills in every area of your life. Don't be afraid to get dirty, to get in the mud, to try new things, to fail forward, fail often. It's the only thing that teaches you most consistently.
That's good. Awesome. Emrand.
I just want to encourage somebody, just remain in the presence of God. I love to tell artists that to build your prayer life, fast, seek the face of God, and maintain yourself, maintain an attitude or a habit of staying in the presence of God to continue to build your career. And also remember everything is not gonna happen one time. So you must be patient. Always be patient. Always be patient. It doesn't matter. Your friend who is an artist is getting bigger than you, or getting shows, or getting big hits, etc. Your time will come. Your time will come. Support. If somebody is getting the breakthrough, celebrate with them. Because at the end of the day, when God is blessing your neighbor, is in your community. You understand? And you next. And when your time comes, you're gonna be so great. Everybody's gonna celebrate you.
That's good. Awesome. Denise?
Yeah.
Final thoughts?
Sorry guys, I slipped out of my phone died.
Oh, I have one question. Denise, are you related to Jackie? Are you guys sisters or something?
We're not sure, but I think so.
Oh, same surname.
We get it.
Yeah.
We get it
last
all.
name.
We get it all the time. Same last name.
I think we are.
Listen, we're like cousins.
But,
I mean,
okay.
we're very close.
We're doing last
very
words,
close.
right?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I had to get this off my chest. And I was like, Denise Castillo, Jackie Castillo, they must be sisters. All right.
We're
Awesome.
song sisters.
Soul sisters, song sisters.
Exactly. Exactly.
But yes, are you guys hearing me?
Yes, we're hearing you.
Yes?
Yes.
Low, but
Yes,
we're hearing you.
Yes.
Yes.
We can hear you.
This is a signing off. Are we doing? My phone wasn't cooperating with me, so
Yeah.
I just like to say we should encourage more talks like this among artists, and we during this time it's a good time to get together with those, connect with people, and especially people who have your same craft too. It's a good time to reflect with each other and to just relate and find common ground with people. And I just encourage everybody to reflect on what you want to, what path you want to take, and what you want to do in your life. And in this time more than ever, we have to be thankful for life and thankful for what we have. And I think that's what this time has been showing us, that even though it's some tough times, we can definitely come together and move forward as one people under God. So.
Amen.
Son. Amen.
You're muted.
You're muted.
We're
bro.
not,
I
not
am
hearing
muted.
you,
I am
Mervin.
muted. I am back.
Your mic is
But,
muted.
Yeah, I wanted to say thank you guys so much for just taking time and to be a part of this discussion. Because of you, I'm able to have Creative Monday discussions, and part of my desire in this is to create a platform like Denise says, where we can, as artists, come together, as creatives, as entrepreneurs, as from different sector of life, come together and just have healthy discussion around what we're passionate about, what we're doing, and through those discussions, inspire, motivate, and help transform the lives of others, right? And so I just want to say thank you guys for being a part tonight. I want to say thank you to all the guests, all the audience that's been tuning in, for everyone who's been sending comments. Let me see if I can. For Milion, I'm seeing online Milion, Miss Karen Banks, Dean Joseph, Grace Harmony, Dennis Rukenia, Carly Donnelly, B. Rainier Barnes. So those are just some of the names that I see have been commenting and giving input. And I just want to say thank you guys for being a part of the discussion tonight. It was awesome. It was great connecting with these amazing artists. And again, guys, look us up. We're all on Facebook. We're all on Instagram. We're all on YouTube. Some of us have websites, and I want to say, if you don't have a website, link me, and that's what I do as my day job. So if you're an artist that needs some help with websites and development, putting a plug there, right? If you need help with getting online, give me a link, hit me up. Let's see what we can discuss and work out together. One of the things that actually I never said this earlier that I wanted to say, because through COVID, money had shut down, and what got me and a lot of artists through was exchange of service. So I was doing designs for artists, and they were doing music production. I was doing some web work, and they were doing some video work. So we started to collab together on that level. We took our skills and we kept producing and creating. There you go, Andrew. We started doing
It's like bartering.
Yes, bartering.
yeah,
Yeah.
partnering. That's how we started that, and that's kind of how I because money wasn't coming in, but I needed to still get work done. I need to produce, and so we started to share services on that level. And through that, we actually made some very good friends and connection through that level. But yeah, so I just wanna, we have about a minute, so I just wanna again thank our sponsors. Pull them up. We want to thank our sponsors, Task Belize, Elevate Consulting, Coaching with Melanie Builders, Hardware KSPJ Fashions, The Art Shock, Budram Solutions. And again, guys, if you want to find out how you can sponsor and be a part of making these Creative Monday discussion and other projects happen, please reach out to me, info@mervinbudram.com, or call or WhatsApp 614-8540. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you to all you awesome guests. Thank you, Barrington, Andrew, Denise, Jackie, Emrand. Thank you guys so much for being a part. Have a good evening.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us. Thank you for having us. Goodbye, everyone.